What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to break down all my trades from the morning. Now, I'll say something at the beginning of this episode. I actually feel like yesterday was a better day in the market than today. Now, if you watched yesterday's recap, you know that yesterday was a red day, and today I'm up $57,000. So how in the world was yesterday better? Well, when I sat down yesterday morning, I really liked the scans. I liked the leading gainers. I liked the stocks were on the scans based on the range they had, the way they were trading. I felt like the moves yesterday, for the most part, were actually cleaner. Now, I was red. Really, it was my own fault. I mismanaged risk on one trade. I had one trade that I totally botched, and unfortunately, it ruined my day. Now, if I had traded that a little differently and a little bit better, yesterday would have been a much better day than today and a bigger green day than today. My total profit at one point yesterday was about $250,000, which is kind of crazy. And I still finished the day red. So I'm trading with big size, I'm taking risk. And yesterday was a day where I just had an error in judgment and that resulted in that loss. Today, however, when I sat down, I really didn't like anything that was on the scanners. The leading gainer, it's kind of cheaper. It's got a higher float. It's more thickly traded. It just didn't feel like it had the potential to move. And then the second leading gainer also was a higher float, more thickly traded. It just, today we didn't have as much action. And yet I did make some good money. So how did I approach the day? Well, I said after yesterday's red day, the most important thing today is to be very selective, to take good quality trades, to get in, get green, and get out, not to overstay my welcome. And so I did exactly that. So once I had a cushion on the day of $5,000, $10,000, I started taking a little bit more risk and quickly made my way up to $40,000. Once I was at 40 grand, I incrementally made my way up to 50, 55, and then eventually 57,000, where I called it a day. So, this was a day where I didn't take a lot of trades. I was pretty precise, sort of precision trading, just going for really good quality setups. Got in, got green, got out, and I made some money, but I feel like it was almost grasping at straws. I just didn't feel like we had as much opportunity as we had yesterday. Unfortunately, yesterday, I squandered the opportunity we had by taking too much risk at the wrong spot. So there's the P&L on the day, $57,488.88. And this stock, MEIP, actually left me feeling pretty frustrated. So what do we have here? Well, we have a stock that had news that came out this morning, a $100 million private placement to be used for the purchase of cryptocurrency. And the stock goes from $4 straight to 11. But wait a second. Isn't that the same headline, nearly the same headline, that I bought into yesterday with a huge position at nearly the very top? Well, actually, I got in kind of halfway yesterday. So the stock from yesterday, now, gosh, this is amazing. I'm already blanking on the ticker. What was the ticker from yesterday? It's amazing. You know what? And that's actually a really good thing, is the ability to kind of detach and just let it go. Like it's already water under the bridge. But truly, I do need to know what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to run the gap scan for yesterday. So top gappers, and this is going to be for yesterday. Let's see, 17th. So VLCN, VLCN, that's right. Now it's back. All right, so the VLCN, so this was the one that I screwed up yesterday, and it was already up quite a bit, and then suddenly, this is unbelievable, suddenly that news headline comes out right there of the big Bitcoin purchase that they're going to make. And I ended up getting in sort of right in this area. It goes to here, so I was up $250,000 on the day, and then it flushes down, and I go from green to red. I was down 34,000 on the day at my lowest. So today, when I saw MEIP pop up, I was just like, honestly, no, I don't trust it. And I'm glad, because look, it popped up and then it just sold off. And what's annoying about this is that it was already up. And so why was it already up? Who were these buyers in here? And I feel like they might have been people that already knew this news was coming. And I find that to be very frustrating. So what ended up happening yesterday with VLCN is that it felt, well, the stock was already up a lot on no news before the actual news came out. So again, some people knew the news was coming and they were buying before it. And then as soon as the news came out, clearly what were they doing? Selling and taking profit, right? Now that's insider trading for the people that were trading, knowing that news was coming out, and they were acting ahead of that because they had insider information. And same with the people that bought this before the news came out. Now, if you traded it before the news came out, just because it was on the scanners, and that's fine. That's not insider trading. You're just trading something that's moving. It's if you actually know someone in the company and they said they sent you a message or whatever. They're like, hey, the stock's we're gonna put out this news headline at tomorrow morning, and then you act on that. That's insider trading. And so I fear that was happening yesterday on VLCN. Now I don't know it for a fact, but I worry that is what was happening, and it could have been happening again today because as soon as the news comes out, all of a sudden people are ready to sell, and it just comes back down. So this is a big contrast to BMNR, BMNR, where the news came out, and this just kind of kept going higher and higher. And I think there's a couple of things, having thought about this more. BMNR was a somewhat recent IPO, so you didn't have a lot of bag holders that were maybe happy to sell it, as the case has been with VLCN. VLCN's been around for a long time, so you've got people who are underwater who are, happy to sell, maybe today, yesterday for a smaller loss, even still might have been a loss. This is a stock that's been around for a very long time. MEIP, this is also a stock that's been around for a long time. These are not new companies. So that could create more bag holders that are selling, or it could simply be the company that's selling shares. I don't know. But this is not fun. So I fell into the trap yesterday, but I didn't fall into it today. I said, nope, I see the headline, and well, that's not true. I took one small trade on it, buying a dip, and I made $400, but it was small size, and I didn't do anything reckless on this. I didn't go with big size. I was very cautious. So, and unfortunately, that kind of was the end of the day right there. This pop and then the fade, because it took attention away from LAWR, which was the other stock that I was focusing on. So let's go back to the first trade of the day. All right, so I sat down this morning, and 7 a.m. leading gapper is TELO. So TELO is up, and I'm like, it already made a move from after hours, which means at 7 a.m., you're probably going to have people who are buying it for a swing trade looking to sell it. And it ends up just selling off. Predictable. The float, 18 million shares. It's just thickly traded. I just didn't feel like it was worth it. Then we had, we had a couple others. So I'm actually going to switch over to the top gappers scan. Where is it? There it is. So we had this one. We had BZAI. So BZAI was also on the scan here. And this one's got a 56 million share float. Also started the move after hours. So that was our second leading gainer going into 7 a.m. And I was like, nope, not interested in that. SCXLX warrants, too cheap, no volume. UAVS, CPOP. I just didn't like any of the stocks that were on the scan. So I was like, this is going to be a problem. And then KMRK hits our scanner. I pull it up. And initially I said, guys, I don't know. It's a Hong Kong company. It's a recent IPO. Got to be careful with this. I'm not sure. So it ends up popping up right here to a high of 6. I don't trade it. I'm like, nope, not sure about it. It drops back down. But then when it curls back up here, I was like, all right, if it can break through this level, then okay, I'll take a trade. So I took a trade right there, and it broke 650 and went up to $10 a share. So I got that trade right there. I take my profit, it dips down, it curls back up, and I took a trade here, and I took another trade right here. And I was hoping we would retest the highs, but we weren't able to. The thing that I know about these stocks is that whether or not they're going to go depends entirely on whether or not insiders are going to choose to sell. Because if insiders are going to start dumping shares, then it will not go up. But if they're not dumping shares, it will. So these stocks can be very tricky. They can give us huge moves, but it's 100% dependent on what's going on the inside of the company. And so in this case, it feels like clearly there's a lot of selling. And so although it made a nice move here, once it broke back below VWAP the second time, it was pretty much over. And so I left it alone, but then LAWR popped up on the scan. Now this one, I sort of felt a little differently. I said, I don't know, guys, It popped up here, dropped down. I said, I don't think I'm going to get in it right here because it's a US company. So these are going to, the US companies that IPO are typically more reputable than the foreign companies. And they typically don't put in these crazy, crazy moves. So I was sort of like, I don't know. I'm really not sure that this is going to work. It ends up going up anyways to 6. And I was like, all right, well, there you go. It pulls back and then it curls back up again. And as it comes back up again, right in here, we got some nice trades on that retest to 7. And so at the break of VWAP here, these nice waves, I traded in that area and I ended up making $21,000 on that stock. So the combination of these two, very recent IPOs gave me my profit for the day, which was $57,000. And after that rejection on MEIP, I just sort of sat waiting, hoping something else would pop up, but we didn't get anything. And the more these ones have sold off, kind of the more it hurts sentiment for today. And the more I'm kind of feeling like, you know what, it's Friday. We're at the end of the week. Yesterday was not great for me. It's my own fault, but maybe I'm just going to call it here. So this is where I'm going to finish the day, $57,488.88. And I'm going to live to trade another day. I'll be back at it bright and early on Monday morning. So for those of you guys who tune into these episodes every day on YouTube, I'm going to put a link for the 2-week trial at Warrior Trading. It's 2 weeks for $20. During that trial, you'll get access to Day Trade Dash, this software right here for charting, scanning, breaking news. You'll also have access to our chat room, my live audio video broadcast, and a selection of classes from the Warrior Pro curriculum. So check it out. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And let me remind you, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow. And I'll see you guys 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday morning.